Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Monarch Wise Woman. I'm Tanisha, and on this channel we talk about topics that can help free you from fear and empower you. So we talk about what's going on in the world as a whole from a spiritual point of view. We also talk about magic, the occult, and the journey and the path of a wise one from my perspective and from my experience. So if you've been listening to me for a while now, you know that when I talk about wise ones, I'm referring to those that were labelled as witches. And you know from what I've said that my belief is that wise ones are actually the guardians of Mother Earth and her children. We're here to protect, bring justice, and spread love amongst everyone as well, and help people remember their own power. And so, being that that is our job, I have to share this next topic with you because I feel like it's my duty and something that I have to do if I'm going to say that I'm here to protect. And I have to warn you that what I'm about to make you aware of next maybe a little bit triggering and horrific to hear. So if you have children, I probably wouldn't recommend that they watch this with you, and I just wanted to prepare you and give you that little disclaimer before I get onto the topic. So most of you watching this channel, I would believe, would be animal lovers and would want to protect animals, because most wise ones, they love nature, they love being out in nature, they love connecting with animals. That's part of being protectors and guardians of Mother Earth. And to further that role, as well as speaking out about things that I do and setting the record straight about who we are on here, I'm also doing animal studies, and my goal is to become a vet nurse. So this topic is really dear to my heart and really triggering for me to speak about as well, because it's something that I didn't know was going on and really needs to have awareness raised about it. So there are scammers in Uganda that are pretending to be animal shelters to get your money. What is the worst thing about this is not only are they pretending to be shelters, but they are actually physically harming these animals to make you feel sorry for them, so you keep giving them money. And they show pictures of these animals in horrible conditions, and mostly it is dogs and cats. And I'm about to go a little bit graphic in detail about what's actually being done to these animals, because I believe it's important for you to know the extent of what's happening to them. Bear with me, I'm finding it harder to talk about, even though it's already hard to talk about, but I just recently lost my beloved dog Stella of 10 years as well, so this is very, very, very emotional right now. So these animals, you'll be told, were in accidents, and that's how the injuries occurred. But these injuries are not by accident. These injuries are things like hot boiling water being poured onto the animal's face, amputation of their limbs with no anesthetic, being purposely run over by cars, being starved, and those are just a few of the things. This is the extent that they're going to get your money, and they will keep doing this if we keep falling for this scam. We need to protect these animals, and there's two ways to do that. The first way is to recognize these scams and do not support them. You can recognize some of these scams by paying attention to these injuries. One of them was that they'd had a surgery done, but when they showed a picture of the animal after the surgery done, you could still see bone, which obviously isn't a proper surgery. Also things like walking around with a food bowl to all of the animals, just one food bowl, and showing it to all of the animals and getting them to jump up excited for the food. This is not something that anyone that actually cared about animals would do to already starving animals. You'll notice when the animals go to jump on them, they flinch. There's little things that you can notice that show that they don't really love these animals. Not only that, but there are barely any legitimate animal shelters in Uganda. They started with fake orphanages, so they actually started with children, and I haven't seen any horrific injuries like this happen to children, but it's a possibility. Pretending to be orphanages to get our money, and oftentimes these kids weren't even their own. They were just kids that they either took from the streets and took videos or posed in front of buildings, or they kidnapped these kids for this purpose, and God knows what's happening to the kids. So that's another scam that you don't want to fall for, but they've moved away from that scam because people became aware of that and they moved on to the animals. So please be so vigilant if you do come across any of these shelters on what's actually happening to these animals. We need to recognize it, and we need to stop sending money, and we need to let other people know about it. That's a way to prevent any further animals, to prevent this happening to any further animals, because if there's no money coming in, there's going to be no point in them continuing this scam. But as for the animals that are already there and already suffering, there is an organization called We Won't Be Scammed that is both exposing these scammers and saving the animals. So what I was talking to you about before with recognizing the signs, they help with this because they're showing videos of who these scammers are and sick videos of them in other places flaunting how much money they've made from this. Now, the lady that started this, I actually got talking to her, and she's a veterinarian in the UK, and she recognized that these injuries were not accidental injuries, and she's the one who started all of this. So she's an animal lover herself to the extreme, because they are working to not only spread this awareness but actually go into Uganda and save these animals. They are risking their lives to save these animals, and there's been no organization that, in my opinion, has been more worthy of our support than this. People that are actually risking their lives to help these animals. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in my description below a link to their Instagram, We Won't Be Scammed, and you can see for yourself what's happening. And you can support them in multiple ways. You can support them by talking about this, spreading awareness, making sure you don't fall for this scam. You can donate to their GoFundMe to help with the animals that need serious medical treatment after this. You know, whatever way you can will help these animals. This is disgusting and it has to be stopped. It really does. This is literal torture that these animals are going through. And I'm trying to do what I can do to support them by spreading this awareness on my channel. Also donating when I have the funds, but I completely understand that these are tough times and not all of you have that, so even just spreading that awareness can stop them from doing this to more animals. I also want to let you know I'm not affiliated with this charity in any way. There's no earnings or anything coming my way. This is all because I had a chat to this veterinarian in UK myself and looked at the charity myself, and it's something that I believe in. So that's why I'm choosing to do this on my platform. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this, and I'm sorry if it was triggering, and do be prepared if you do go to We Won't Be Scammed, because you will actually see videos of these animals, because it's not being hidden, because it needs to be seen how brutal this is. So thank you so much, especially if you're here till the end. Please help us spread awareness of this, and take care. Have a good day or night wherever you are.